following is a Sick Side Studios production.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hurry, turn your headphones up. Because I am about to put it in your ear holes. My name is Cy, and getting locked in the padded cell. Yes, it is. The Padded Cell is that podcast that you tune into every now and again. Created by you and put together by me, Cy, your host. Very special episode. We're actually just going to dive right into it. We're not going to pussyfoot. We're just going to get right into the meat and potatoes of the episode. We have a very, very special guest in studio with us, the former co-commissioner of my fantasy league, Jazon. Sazon is what I like to call this segment. Say what up to the people, man.
Hey, what's up, Chris? Appreciate you having me on, man.
Put the mic to your face. There you
Hey,
go.
I appreciate you having me on, man. It's a pleasure. I love the no pussyfooting, no lollygagging.
No lollygagging, no pussyfooting,
no dilly-dallying.
No, sir. We get straight to business, and in this episode, we give you guys a fantasy preview, and we're just gonna talk a little bit about football bullshit here and there, and give you guys something to listen to, and make you guys want to be on this show as well. Speaking of which, big shout out. Another shout out goes to my boy Brando. Come on, man. We got to get you on one of these episodes, bro. So holla at me. All right. Jumping into it, Jazon, man. Welcome.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you for stopping by, man.
You know, every single year, I feel like the pendulum just keeps shifting more and more. And every single year, it seems like there's more and more quarterbacks.
That's what's cool about it. I love
passing
that
for more yards. It's
sure.
crazy. And I mean, you look, and I think there's been 5 or 6 5,000-yard passers ever. And I think 5 of them have come within the past few years.
Which ones are?
I know Drew Brees has done it about 3 times.
Okay,
Matthew Stafford had that big season with Calvin Johnson.
Stafford, that's right. I actually have had him quite a bit. I like that guy.
And, I think Peyton's come close. You know, he's had a couple big years since he's been back. You know,
bro.
Broke the touchdown record.
Dude, when he came back, I didn't think he was going to have this hard of a comeback. He's been solid, bro.
Yeah, and I know for a while, I'm a Dolphins fan.
I thought it was going to be a lot of hype.
We had a Peyton cam down in Miami, and I remember him flying to the airport, and we were all happy thinking he's coming to Miami. Turns out the guy just likes beaches, but... So I know one team we were just talking about, and I can't believe more teams aren't talking about this year, is the Indianapolis Colts. You look at Andrew Luck, what he's done in the league in his first 3 years, nobody's ever done. He's gotten farther and farther into the playoffs every single year. Mm-hmm. He got into the AFC Championship, almost led his team over the Patriots. And you got to think, man, he had no running game last year.
That's true.
Trent Richardson was this guy's running back.
And that was a lot of hopes, high hopes for Trent Richardson. I don't know exactly what happened.
Yeah, they traded a first-round pick, and I know a lot of people criticize the Browns when they made that trade. Oh, what are they doing? They got Trent Richardson 3rd overall. Why would they be doing that? But hey, they look kind of smart now,
Not
and I know the Browns they don't look smart too often, but
Not bad
this time around, it turns like they finally won a trade. And if you look at the Colts, they got the free agent signing, Andre Johnson, Frank Gore, 2 guys from the U.
That blew me away.
They know how to win.
That's so awesome. The Colts are pretty cool this year, man.
I think it'll be interesting and looking forward to them in fantasy, because when you look at certain players sometimes in those later rounds, when you're kind of looking at 2 guys 50-50,
yeah,
most of the time you want to pick the guy who's going to have that elite quarterback. That guy is probably going to produce just because he's on an efficient offense.
Yep.
So Indianapolis is going to be one of those teams that you look on. Obviously, Denver, that's going to be one of those teams you're always going to look on. It'll be a high offense.
Let me ask you this. Let's say we start the season. We get into the first 3 to 4 weeks, and we see Andrew Luck hasn't been that awesome.
Right.
Like, in the sense of, like, we're seeing interceptions. Mm-hmm. We're not seeing as many touchdowns. Right. We're not even seeing too many completions. Like, It's just not looking too nice for him. Same outlook?
Well, you look at his division, man. I'd say same outlook, man. I don't think Blake Bortles is going to overthrow him anytime soon. Houston's got Ryan Mallett.
Yeah, that's nothing about it.
And then
about it.
Man, what's that other team down there in the AFC South? The Titans. They got Marcus Mariota.
Mariota.
So, I mean,
that's right.
You're the rookie, man. It's a young man's league, but I don't know. I still think it'll be a couple of years before the Titans show something. But I mean, point blank, the Colts are in the worst division of football. So even if they go 0-3, they're going to be playing each of those teams 2 times.
That's true.
And that's nothing to look past. And when you're looking forward, obviously they got a lot of great players you might want to target high. But when you're looking at quarterbacks, I know Aaron Rodgers is kind of the gold standard, but
Andre Johnson on that team.
To me, Rodgers 1A and Luck 1B this year. Luck's a first rounder in my book.
Man.
And I know, you look at the first round, we're looking at different running backs. I know the old adage goes, you can't win it in the first round, but you can sure lose it.
How valuable is he, though? Like, where do you put him?
Well, right now, the standard list we're looking at, he's right here, number 11. I'll tell you, if I'm picking at the back end of the first round in a 12-team draft, Andrew Luck 11, Aaron Rodgers 12, I'd probably pick him even a little bit higher, like maybe in the top 8 range, because, you look at some of the running backs going in the first round, C.J. Anderson. Eddie Lacy was up and down. He had you were talking about 3 weeks of maybe having bad games.
Yep.
I feel like Eddie Lacy had 6 or 7 bad weeks.
Yeah, he did.
He came on strong to the end of the playoffs, but are these running backs and are these players you want to put your whole fantasy season on?
Yeah, exactly.
I think I'd rather do it with Andrew Luck or an Aaron Rodgers, but maybe that's just me. Right after them, you got guys like Jeremy Hill, Aaron Foster, who's updated. The quarterback has 5 linemen looking after him every play. I like his chances of staying healthy the whole season. All
right, so outside of those two, Rodgers and Luck, what's the next quarterback that you're like, yeah, that's the guy?
Man, would it be crazy if I said Ryan Tannehill? No, I really do like Ryan Tannehill this year, but I have not gone crazy. I will say with Ryan Tannehill, the thing I'm so excited about, more so than in any time in NFL history, rookie wide receivers are really starting to make an impact. I know I listened to your last show with Kyle. You guys touched on Odell Beckham, Mike Evans a little bit. There was 5 wide receivers, though, that were elite. Brandon Cooks, Jarvis Landry. This is a position that traditionally in the NFL has taken 2-3 years to develop. And now that college offenses are a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more advanced, all of a sudden these guys are coming in year 1. They're changing their whole team around. And you look at the Dolphins, they finally got Devontae Parker. He had a great senior year in Louisville. You look at his stats his senior year, looks kind of mediocre. He had like 900 yards, 9 touchdowns. That was in half the season. He was injured for 6 games.
I was going to say, he missed out time.
Yeah, and then he didn't have Teddy Bridgewater. He had 3 different quarterbacks throwing to him. So
maybe with a little bit of consistency he can produce.
We'll see. But yeah, going back to your question, though, about best quarterback, I'm an old school guy. I'm really rooting for Peyton this year. I see so much symmetry with John Elway's career and Peyton Manning's career. I feel like obviously that's a line that's easy to draw just because he's managing them now. Exactly. And it was with the Colts. But you really look at it, Elway's whole career, he was considered a great quarterback, but he didn't start winning until the end. And he finally Elway won back-to-back Super Bowls in his career. And I really think Peyton has that last final push where he might be making a run with this team, and I think he could have another amazing season. I know he got injured in the last, you could tell at the end of last year, maybe he's just 38, but he didn't look the same. And I just think this year he's going to have a huge bounce-back season. So I'd probably put him as my number 3. How about you, Chris?
Tom Brady. When he works with absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. I don't like Tom Brady a lot. Fantasy, I don't mind him at all. Right. I remember last year I was like, I'm not going to give a damn about quarterbacks because I really don't think anybody's eyeing Tom Brady. Right. I literally am. I'm waiting way beyond to see if I could, and I didn't even get
I remember the ad. Tom Brady was going and he was like 12 or 13 last
so
year.
I was
right?
like, dude, that's going to be the guy. Because he can work with absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? And since I got burnt with Rodgers, I was like, screw that. My whole perception on quarterbacks had changed.
So if you're picking 11 or 12 this year, are you avoiding a quarterback? Are you avoiding Rodgers because he's burnt you before?
Yeah. Because there are other people that I think I could just make work with.
Wow, that's interesting. And, obviously, a lot of these running backs and wide receivers.
I'd rather have a receiver, 2 receivers or 2 solid backs or something like that where I know they're going to produce. And there's a quarterback where I know I'm going to get 15 points, 16. And I ended up getting Russell Wilson.
Right.
I wanted Tom Brady, and I ended up getting Russell because I didn't think Russell Wilson would be available that late.
Right.
When I saw he was available, I was like, oh wait, I don't have to get Tom Brady because Russell's here. Psh, I'm good. I took him.
You learned with Russell how valuable a quarterback who rushes can be.
Yes.
Everyone always kind of looks at throwing touchdowns and interceptions. I
was excited to see that too when I picked him. I was like, yo, this is actually maybe pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I waited on that, and I think I was trying to get Julio Jones, and I got somebody else. I love Julio Jones.
I know Cam Newton's always been one of my favorites because, sometimes you can have a game where he passes for 120 yards, but he rushes for 150 with 2 touchdowns. So you end up still having a pretty good game from him. Your guy doesn't have to throw for 300 if he's going to rush the ball 10 times a game. You know what I mean?
Like, another situation that kind of, is interesting to me is where do you put DeMarco Murray?
Man, I feel like you just read my mind because I know we were talking right here at the back end of the first round. I know last year, I know me and you are in a fantasy league and some of our other viewers, they may be in that same league where I picked at the end of the first round last year, and I remember vocally saying, I'm not going to stake my season on DeMarco Murray. You know, you look at him before last year, he's always been injured. He's never been able to have a full season, and I just didn't want to put a first-round pick on him. I was wrong. He ended up leading the NFL in rushing. He was one of the best fantasy players. Running backs in general, you know, not just DeMarco Murray, but running backs in general, they're always hurt. And I feel like running backs are always something that you can get on the waiver wire as the year goes on. Tight ends, quarterbacks, it always seems like those few guys that have Jimmy Graham or Gronk or who have Rodgers or Luck, those guys are always getting trade-off. So,
that's true.
So it always just feels like at the end of the year, you know, mid-season maybe, if your team's not going according to plan, if you have one of those guys, it's always nice knowing that you can at least mortgage them maybe for some other assets if you're hurting for some other parts of your team. So
yeah, it's interesting.
So that's why I always tend to shy away from a running back maybe. And I know I've been in fantasy for maybe 10 years now. It used to be the complete opposite.
I am the complete opposite still. To this day, I'm not heavy on running backs, but I'm like, not center focused, but man, it's there.
I know looking at the list here, you know, Frank Gore finally being an efficient offense. I know we finally looked at him, but you got Melvin Gordon rated high. I don't know if I'm picking him. Mark Ingram going 23, really? that it's tough, man. It's tough finding a running back that you're gonna like, and I think that's gonna be the hardest part about this fantasy season. But hey, that's what makes things so fun, right?
Hell yeah, it's way cool. Marshawn Lynch is old, but like
we said that last year, and look what happened, right?
Exactly. And I wanted him too, bro. I remember you and me were talking about that. I was like, yo, what do you think about him? And you were like, dude, he's old. I had the 4th pick, and I wanted to pick him with the 4th pick.
Beast mode.
Who did I end up going with?
Matt Forte is who you went with.
That's right, Matt Forte.
He's number 1 on the list this year.
Really?
I mean, no Brandon Marshall. What are the Bears going to do? Are they going to let Jay Cutler throw it? I don't know.
I don't like Jay Cutler, man.
Brandon Marshall, where did he go? Are you serious? He went to the Jets.
Oh, really? I didn't know. Oh, that's right. I did know that. I did know that.
You know, he still doesn't have anyone actually throwing him the ball.
Who is their quarterback?
I can see things getting really ugly in New York this year pretty fast.
Bro, things have been ugly in New York.
Marshall's always been that diva.
That's true.
He's always been that guy with.
That can be trouble, man.
Yeah. That's a cancer of a locker room. You know, when you have one guy, it could bring everybody down after a loss. You know, when an NFL team loses, that's when you need to pull together the most. And when you got a couple of guys that are cancers, it brings your whole team down. Nobody wants that.
Look at Chicago. they were a mess, man. And I like Martellus Bennett. That's weird, man. I like Martellus, but I don't like Jay Cutler.
I like Martellus. You know what? I think I was actually looking at the tight end list. So you got Gronk, you got Graham. I think everybody asked they're going to put those 2 tight ends up top. But I know a similar question, you know, who would you put behind Luck and Rodgers as number 3? You can ask for the tight ends. I think Martellus Bennett would be my number 3.
Yeah?
Dude, don't you remember the beginning part of last year? I felt like he was always putting up 24 games.
I loved him, bro. I thought he was awesome. I thought he was way cool. Zach Ertz, though, in Philadelphia, I don't see that happening, bro. I don't.
Zach Ertz, yeah, I don't know if I want him as my starting tight end, but that just shows how slim the pickings are.
Dwayne Allen, though, for sure. Like,
that's got to be the shallowest vision.
Yeah.
It has to be. You know, there's wide receivers that go on for ages. I feel like with running backs, you kind of hit a plateau.
Yeah.
But you still have a lot of quality options. You know, you can always get those second options in case someone gets hurt. Same thing with quarterbacks. You know, there's at least 15 good ones.
I'll probably wait a little bit and mess around. I like Vernon Davis. I think he's semi-consistent.
All right. Let me ask you a question. I'm not sure if this is something that you're aware of or not, but I know I've been reading about, you know, what the competition committee is trying to do with the NFL. Are you aware that this is the last year where there will be 6 teams from each conference making the playoffs? You know, this year will be the last team with 6 from each conference. Next year, they're going to be going to 7 teams per conference. Instead of having 2 bye weeks per conference, there's going to be 1 bye week.
1 bye week?
Yeah. Instead of 4 wild card games, there'll be 6.
That's kind of cool.
I love that, man.
That is kind of cool.
That is awesome. That wild card weekend is one of the best weekends in sports. And if you can add 2 NFL games to that.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Damn.
And not only that, but it's going to make teams in the end of the regular season, you know, teams that are vying for the 7th spot, you know, 7, 8, 9, they're going to be a lot more interested.
Yeah.
So all in all, I think it's a great move for the NFL. It's going to add a lot of excitement into 2016.
All right, I want to give a big shout out to my boy Jason for stopping by all the way from Jacksonville too, man. Showing love. Thanks again, homie.
We got these couple weeks before Christmas. It's just like December for me.
Yes, I feel you.
You see all these presents come in, you know, all these running backs, these wide receivers. Get to finally crack the lists, do the mock drafts. If you guys are listening to this and you haven't looked at any lists, Any rankings? Any mocks?
You need to lessen up.
It's time.
Yes.
A couple weeks away.
Very, very, very near. Man, September's right around the corner, dude.
September is like 4 weeks away. The preseason starts next week, I think.
Oh my God! See how quick, bro! It's just we're gonna start seeing people hit each other.
I can't wait to see football on TV. It's gonna happen.
It's
We're hitting each other.
We're still gonna be like,
I love when you hear the whistle, and you can hear the offensive line and the defensive line just smack bodies. You just hear every single play. I love it.
It's gonna be great. Hit us up with any questions, concerns, comments at the padded cell 101.wordpress.com.
Kyle, I'm coming for you, buddy.
We're actually getting new commissioners this year. Oh, do we want to say any of those real quick? Do you want any league notes?
Go right ahead, man. Let's go ahead and do a little notes really quick.
Quick little league notes. So I guess this year, what are we doing? You were explaining to me we're changing up the commissioners, right?
Yeah, no one wants to be commissioner.
No one. Nobody.
Nobody's brave enough. We've had 3 people volunteer in the past. All excited to be commissioner and fearful to be commissioner the next year. Being a commissioner is thankless. I know myself, I've been commissioner by myself and also with another as one of 2 commissioners. You know, we got a league constitution in place. You know, we got this podcast.
Very serious.
Our communication is always great in the league. So
absolutely.
I feel confident that whoever gets picked is going to be able to deliver a great fantasy football season.
It's going to be great regardless. It's going to be awesome.
God help their souls. We'll figure it out.
But yes, thank you for stopping by, bro. All the way from Jacksonville, ladies and gentlemen. Jason, Hasson ko Sazon is what we're calling the segment.
Always a pleasure, Chris. Thank you.
Sick Studios production.